Hello there, and welcome to part number 6 of chapter 9. We continue to work on the scene, and first of all, we take a look what we have, and I'm scrolling through the scene to look what we can do to make it look better, of course. Because I use 4K textures, rendering always takes a couple of seconds. That's different with the grass scene. That was quicker. So this is what we have, and we're not focusing on how things look because I did not spend any time on making it look good. I'm now focusing on adding some buildings and making a better composition. So in the previous part, I rotated the sunlight because it was not looking very well. The buildings on the front were pretty dark, and it was not doing what I expected. So if I look at this image, I think there are too many gaps or holes in this scene. And the reason was that I wanted to look at a little bit abandoned, like there are not, well, the script of the scene was it looks like an abandoned scene. So, but when I'm looking now, the holes looks pretty weird, and of course I can fill this up with trees later, but I'm still thinking it will not really work. So what do we have in this scene? We have 4 buildings, but for example, this building over here has a very nice side view, or this one. And we're not seeing that at the moment. So I'm thinking about duplicating this building and filling up this space a little bit. I still want a gap between sort of a street getting here, but I like to fill this more. So I will remove this tree. And I will move this a little bit to the right, and same for this building. Yes, and now we move this more to the right, like so. And now we press Shift D. We rotate it to the right, like so. And because the buildings are quite heavy, it needs to load. That's really a pain in this project, that the buildings are quite heavy. But yeah, there's a reason for. So, and we're putting this to it. So you don't want space between it. Looks really weird. So it doesn't matter that it's really getting in. That's no problem. So now we have this. And let's take a look when we render. So it's loading, it's speeding up a little bit now. So we have this plaster wall with this roof and this house. And I think this is way better. I can't see the big point or the big deal of not doing this. So now we have one hole over there that gives us more depth in the scene. We still have this light source coming in, and I will keep this open. Maybe move this building a little bit close to the camera. But yeah, I think this is a good solution. So, move this a little bit. Not too much. You just want something like this. So you can see some of the ornaments of the building. Yep. Yeah, I think this is working well. Right. So you always can tweak your composition. It's not that you make that map that we created. I'll put it in the background, and you're not touching it anymore. So this was original, and now I think, well, needs to be a little bit different. No problem at all. So it's just your reference. We close this. And I like to focus on this point, because now it's open, and I like to make something like a gate or a wall with an entrance, an old entrance, and I like to make that. So I'm switching to my working layer, this one, and I will switch my background image. Yes. Ooh, we go to not floor but arches and select. We want a red one or a brown one. I go for this one. Maybe I change this later. So this is a very old arch. It's a medieval one. I think it fits very well in the scene, and we're going to model it. So it's not only adding the object, sometimes you have to create something else. And we're going to learn maybe something new. So this arch, the best way to make this visible, that's a very good question, is I like to work in mirror mode. So activate mirror, nothing really happens because we need to move this to the right direction. Yes. Let's take a look. Something like this. Is that working out? I can always track this back. Right. So, in fact, this should do the job. Still not really happy with the result. Maybe this. Alright. So, if we take a closer look, this is a bit curvy. So, this is straight, and then it gets curvy and curvy again. And this is flattened. So I still don't know how to do this, but then just start modeling. So something like this. Oh, what's that strange? Yeah, there it is, extruded. So we grab. Well, this is really a pain. Importing these buildings slows down everything in this process. Maybe I will do something about it. Maybe I will hide it from the scene at the moment, because this is not the way I like to work. But also a very good sample of I don't know if this works. This can happen. So it's not that I think, oh, why is this happening in this course? Well, it can happen, and I'll show solutions. That's the good thing of making courses. Of course, I prefer that it's all going smooth, but it can happen that it's not going smooth. And I want one more, and put this more, this sort of ornament design. All right, there we go. And the lovely thing about CG rendering or environment scenes and not game scenes is that you can add more polys. You don't have to count every poly. I love that. When creating game objects, it's absolutely a pain. You have to count every single polygon. All right, back to the modeling process. Alt. I hope this speeds up a little bit. So I want this in line. And if it's not in line, just drag this. And then you're good. Same for these. Okay. And we continue. Extruded. Oh, I'm gonna write that I have to enable screencast. It happens many times. Yeah, it still doesn't help that I hide these buildings because it's still slow down. So I can fill my course with what? What's that? Screencast. Screencast keys. There you go. Start displaying. All right. And extrude it. Ah, I have to select it. All right. guess. There's not a simple way of selecting these vertices. Okay. Nice. For some reason, I always like these arches. They look so nice. I don't know what it is. And they are so old. A lovely design from the medieval times. Good. And I like to enable clipping, because now when you can see there's the mirror. It's hard to see maybe, mirror thing, but I like to that it's clipping together. So you enable clipping and boop, there you go. Let's take a look. Seems fine. Seems fine. But I like to do some more tweaks. Let's take a look. We have this right there. I hope I can tweak that without making it look odd. And it seems to work. It's not always the case. Most of the time when I drag these things, it's meshing up the scene, but this seems to be good. Right. So, one more closer look. Are we happy? I need to see it. Maybe this one, this one, and this one needs to be a bit more inside. Oh, now I've selected the rear as well. We don't want it. So it's reacting. The response is a bit later. And these need to be on the sides. It's a gate. Yeah. And I like to use another door, or maybe no door. I like to make this like it's closed for people to walk, so I will put planks for it or something else, but definitely not this design. So now it's time to add texture. Yeah, texture time. And I'm not clicking apply. 1 second, my throat is a bit dry. I will not apply it because the fun thing is when I apply this texture on the left, it's automatically pasting it on the right. But do we want that? Maybe, I mean, then it looks a little bit duplicated. So there is a choice we have. Let's say we apply it. Ooh,